Here is a quick view of how tournament pool algorithm ranking algorithm works. Um, the first step is sort the data by games won, points scored, and points differential in that specific order. Then apply the head-to-head on top of on the top two based on a configurable Boolean flag if there is a tie from number one. If there is no need, then no need. Here are the four use cases we will run through. Use case number one, we'll have a clear winner on number one position, meaning of the four players, one player won all the three games. We'll have a tie at number two, like same number of wins, and then you apply the tiebreaker, which is points scored. Now, what if the points scored are the same as well? That's where we'll see. That's what we'll see in use case number two. In this case, we'll apply points differential. Now, a couple of other use cases are around when you do not have a clear number one winner, and for number two you have like top three winning the same number of games. What do you do then? How do you select the top two? Now, two of those three scored the same number of points, so you cannot use points scored as well. You can apply points differential. However, at times we might want to apply the head to head as well. So in use case number three, we'll apply points differential, but we will not apply head to head. We'll ignore the head to head. And this is a configurable value. Say if we configure this head to head flag to be true, then we'll apply head to head, meaning we'll look at the top two and we'll see the results of the game result of the top two players. And even if the point differential points to something else, we'll go by the result of the head-to-head game. We'll see all of this in action in the next session. Here is use case number one. We'll just use the same players across the four use cases to make things simple and understand things simply. So first player is Mary Gaines. Then you have Peter Cruz. Then we have Ruben Romero. And the last player we have is Thomas Praise. So these are the four players that we are going to be using in all the four use cases. We have built the first use case and we'll enter the scores such that Mary wins all the three games. Hence, she's the clear winner. Let me lock this round. Yeah, we'll enter the scores such that Mary is the clear winner, and then Peter, Thomas, and Ruben will have each winning one game. All right, and then in that case, we'll use the points scored and hence see how the players are ranked in the pool. Let's go ahead and enter the scores now. Right, so this is 11-10, 11-10. And our set 2 is 10-11 and 9-11, and our set 3 is going to be 11-10 and 11-9. 11-10 and 11-9. Right, let's go ahead and save and we will lock the score. The scores just got locked and the scorecard is here. Now a quick look at the games won. Mary is the clear winner, so that's slot number one. However, for the slot number two, you cannot go by games won, so we'll have to apply a tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker is points scored. Now look at the points scored. Peter has 31, whereas Thomas and Ruben both, each of them have 30 points each. So clearly, Peter is the winner. There is no need to look at the point differentials in this case, where the point differentials are available in the response right here. But we'll ignore that and we'll see the system ranking that it came back with. This is the system ranking here. Mary is at the top. Peter is at the second position. Thomas is at the third position, and Ruben is at the fourth position. And these are applied based on the point differential factored in as well. Right, but Peter got the second position because he had higher point score. Net in use case 1, Mary won all of our three games, hence clearly top. Peter, Thomas, and Ruben won one game each, hence number of wins is a tie. Based on the points scored, Peter gets the second slot. Note that the points differential for both Thomas and Peter was indeed a tie, but that didn't matter because Peter had higher points scored. So the outcome in use case 1 is Mary and Peter are top 1 and 2 respectively. Let's build the second use case. Now, again, we'll use the same 4 players in the same order, everything the same. Let the round get built and we'll enter the scores such that Mary is clear winner, and we will make sure that the scores result in tie at number 2 for same number of wins as well as same points scored. And that's the difference from use case 1. In use case 1, for tie for number 2, you had same number of wins for the 3 players. We'll have the same case here as well, but points scored is also going to be a tie for position number 2. That's what we'll see is going to be different. We just locked the round and we'll go ahead and enter the scores here to result in the use case we are looking forward. Entering the scores now, we'll make sure that Mary wins. That is a given here. In set 2, we'll go ahead and let Mary win in that game, and in this one we'll enter 9-11, and the last game scores will be again 11 for Mary here, and in here we'll make Peter win 11-10. Now this is our score. We'll go ahead and lock it and we'll see the results and explain the results here. Now in this case, Mary is the clear winner. She won 3 games, no questions there. The rest of the 3 players won 1 game each. Let's look at the points scored. Even in points scored, now if I try and break the tie between Thomas, Ruben, and Peter, well, Thomas and Peter scored the same number of points, 31. So that's a tie. Now we'll need to look at the points differential. So let's look at the points differential here for Thomas and Peter. This is Thomas, and Thomas's points differential is 2, and Peter's points differential is 1. So Thomas wins based on the points differential, and given that, the outcome of this game should be Mary on the top and Thomas gets the second position, and that's what you're seeing here in the pool ranking. This is Mary and that's Thomas. A quick recap of the summary of use case 2. Mary won all of her 3 games, hence clearly on the top. Peter, Thomas, and Ruben won 1 game each, hence number of wins is a tie. Based on points scored, Ruben is out. Now the tie is between Peter and Thomas. Based on points differential, Thomas gets the second slot. Hence, the outcome is Mary and Thomas are top 1 and 2 respectively. Let's look at use cases 3 and 4 here. We'll build the same kind of round. So let's just add the same 4 players that we have been using. All right, let me save this round in the database and we'll edit the scores and enter such that each player wins 2 games. Scores are entered. We are going ahead with saving the scores and locking the scores. Keep in mind our apply head-to-head flag is set to false. In this case, the games won by each player is 2. So you can determine. Now we have a tie between Peter, Mary, and Thomas based on the games won. Let's look at the points scored. Points scored by Mary and Thomas are 30 each. So that's a tie too. So now we cannot determine who's number 1 and who's number 2. We know that both of them will be number 1 and number 2, but who's number 1, number 2, we'll need to look at the point differential. Keep in mind the apply head-to-head feature flag is set to false. And in this particular game, let's look at the result of the game between Thomas and Mary. Let's look at what was the score. Thomas and Mary. Mary beat Thomas. So keep that in mind. In the head-to-head game, Mary beat Thomas. Now, so we have a tie here between Thomas and Mary. Let's look at the point differential. The point differential for Mary is 5, whereas point differential for Thomas is 15. Now, while Mary beat Thomas, but the point differential for Thomas is higher. And hence, since the apply head-to-head is false, look at our pool ranking. The pool ranking is Thomas is number 1 and Mary is number 2, despite the fact that in the head-to-head game, Mary beat Thomas. So the summary of use case number 3 really is apply the head-to-head feature flag is false. Thomas, Mary, and Peter each won 2 games. Thomas and Mary tied on points scored. Thomas's points differential is 15, whereas Mary's is 5. System pool ranking is Thomas, Mary, Peter, and Ruben. In the head-to-head game, Mary beat Thomas, but since apply head-to-head is false, this is ignored. Hence, the outcome is Thomas and Mary are top 1 and 2 respectively. So Thomas is at the top. The only difference between use case 3 and use case 4 is the apply head-to-head flag. Now in use case 4, we just switched the apply head-to-head flag to true. Now let's see what happens. We'll get back to the same round and we know that we have our feature to unlock the score. So we'll unlock the score and we'll lock it again. So the rating algorithm runs again with apply head-to-head set to true. Now we'll lock the score again and look at the stats. From the results, we see that the situation is the same. We haven't changed the scores from use case 3. This is use case 4. We just switched the apply head-to-head flag to true. The games won are the same. Thomas and Mary still have a tie based on points scored. Keep in mind that the differential is still the same. This is Mary, differential of 5. This is Thomas, differential of 15. Original system ranking was Thomas was number 1, Mary was number 2. Now in this case, since the apply head-to-head flag was set to true, and we know that Mary beat Thomas in their head-to-head game, hence our pool ranking now is Mary on the top and Thomas on position number 2. To recap, in use case 4, we had the apply head-to-head feature set to true. Thomas, Mary, and Peter each won 2 games. Thomas and Mary tied on points scored. Thomas's points differential is 15, whereas Mary's is 5. System pool ranking came back with Thomas, Mary, Peter, and Ruben. Thomas being on the top. But in this case, since the head-to-head flag was set to true, and Mary beat Thomas in their head-to-head game, hence in this case apply the reverse, meaning the outcome was Mary was on the top and Thomas was position number 2. A quick recap of what we saw in this video. We saw the tournament pool ranking algorithm. It works based on in 2 steps. Sort the data by games won, points scored, and points differential. Apply the head-to-head on top 2 based on a configurable Boolean flag. These are the 4 use cases we looked at. In the use cases 1 and 2, there was a clear top number 1, but there were ties at number 2 position. And in cases 3 and 4, there were 3 based on 3 players who won the same number of games, and we saw different scenarios of different point scores versus point differentials versus applying the head-to-head feature flag or not. Hope this helped explaining how the tournament pool rating algorithm is working. Thank you.